Life Audio.
Today on Talk About That, John has a new name for December 23rd and has an elf on the shelf that refuses to move. Meanwhile, I do an indoor show without any heat and search for a lucky pickle in my Christmas tree. Plus a conversation about the right perspective when facing obstacles and inconveniences. Today's episode is not sponsored by Feet, the original stocking stuffer. But first, a word from our actual sponsor.
A festive episode, Johnny, of Talk About That. Here we are, man. We're on Christmas Adam right now.
What is it?
Christmas Adam.
Is that what they say? You don't say Eve Eve?
It's the day before Christmas Eve.
That's Christmas Eve Eve.
Christmas
You
Adam.
say Christmas Adam?
That's what Sadie's best friend's family calls it that, and we love it. We've adopted it.
Okay.
So,
well,
you need to get with the times,
Sadie's
man.
got some weird friends.
I'm a forward-thinking guy. You know that. Everyone knows.
You've never said Eve Eve?
I don't think so.
The 23rd is when most men are buying their presents. Is that wouldn't you agree with that? Are you that guy? Do you plan ahead?
Johnny, I'll be honest with you.
You've not bought a thing?
I don't. My wife and I don't give each other presents.
We don't either. We don't.
Yeah.
We haven't done that.
And
but then aren't you kind of terrified that she's actually going to break the rule and then get you something?
No, I'm not. I mean,
I would see the fraud alert. I would see. Her account is flagged.
I see every transaction. No, we've done it a long time now.
Yeah.
It would be detrimental to break tradition at this point.
Yeah.
Our tradition literally is to not give gifts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then we go so many cool places together, and then we do things. Like if we want something, we go get it. I mean, I hate to say that. That sounds like we're very spoiled. We don't. There's a lot of things we don't go get because we just can't afford it. But I'm saying, like, we do a lot of fun things, so it's weird to be like, on top of it, be like, I also want a diamond ring. That's what I would say to her.
What if right now she's listening and that's what she wants? And you're like...
That was my impression of her.
Not paying attention.
A tennis bracelet. Do you think people play tennis in those bracelets? Is that why they're called that? Why are they called a tennis bracelet?
That's a great question.
It seems very gaudy when I think about it, because you get diamond earrings. That's one diamond in each setting. You get a diamond ring, that's one diamond. Tennis bracelets, loaded with diamonds.
You just spread all over your wrist.
All over the place. Like, how is it not $1 million?
Yeah, well, it kind of is.
Oh.
It's a lot of money.
So I've underpaid. I have taken advantage of.
Diamond, have you bought your wife diamonds?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah. She, I replaced, her engagement ring, we got married very young. I think it was like a 1/4 carat or some. I mean, it was tiny.
Yeah.
It was like you got to squint.
Right.
And
you don't need a loop to see what its clarity. You just need a loop to see it.
You need a telescope.
Yeah.
And so we got. When we had been married a while, I replaced that with like a larger, like a 3/4 carat or something.
And she liked the old one better.
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't that. She was like, finally, something I deserve. And no, she at that time worked at a job where she had to take off latex gloves all the time. She worked in a nursing home as a caregiver. And evidently when she was peeling off the gloves one time, she had the ring on underneath it, and it knocked it out of the setting, and she didn't know it. So when she got home, it was just, she goes,
it must
have been one of the many times I've whatever. And then I think I replaced that, and I think she left that ring in a hotel room or something one time, and we were already like too far gone, and there's no, So now she just doesn't wear an engagement. She just wears her wedding band. But I've bought her diamond earrings, and
this is a sad story.
It is sad.
You're like, I'm not buying. Basically, you said I'm not buying her anymore.
Yeah, I mean, she can't handle the responsibility of diamonds. Diamonds are fascinating to me because at this point we know. I mean, I don't want to be like that guy, but that talks about like all the blood diamonds and the whatever. But it is like weird to know that like diamonds come from like a lot of conflict, and now there's lab grown.
Yeah, but they don't.
But don't you want the blood diamonds, John? If you're honest with yourself, do you want the ones that involve conflict? You're like, there's not been a civil war over this. I don't want it.
Did you know they just found? Was it gold or diamonds? I want to say it's gold. They just found the largest, like, what do you call it? Underground veins of gold in history in China. Like the largest, what's it?
Like it's
a mine. Well, you're going to go in and mine it, but they can now scan under the ground. And they found the largest gold deposit in history now, natural.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know what kind of conflict in China. China seems like a great place to be. Not a lot of conflict there.
I wrote a joke one time, and I don't know if it ever landed. I just stopped doing it, but it was I think it was just a tweet, but it was basically like all diamonds are conflict diamonds if you're married. Like basically meaning you're trying to make up for something in a way. So all diamonds come from either you're buying it because you've had a conflict or a conflict is to come. I don't know, John.
I think that's a very cynical thing
I think
to
you're
say
right.
at Christmas, Jonnie.
I think that's why I didn't land. And I apologized. I'm sorry my family had to see me that way.
I would love to have the list of things you've retired. And that'd be a great episode. Let's talk through why you retired this one.
Well, and there's just things that I'll stop short of doing now that I think early on in my career I've been like, let's just try it. I think I've become more gun shy. I think I have more to lose. That's part of it, which is kind of, that's a wrong-headed mindset, I guess, because that's how I just need to keep just jumping off that ledge, don't I, John?
But do you? Maybe you're just wiser.
Maybe
like you shouldn't have done that stuff in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm glad you finally came to your senses.
You're probably right. Yeah. What is your big holiday? Do you have you talked about the Christmas Adam, but do you have holiday traditions? Do you eat a certain meal, like other than the normal?
That's what's sad. So we used to go to my grandfather's on Christmas Adam, which we'd call Christmas Eve or just the 23rd. And
does that person feel a little bit ripped off that they don't get the actual holiday? Do you ever have that? Because we're going to go home this year on the 26th, and but part of that's because that's just when family can get together on Curry's side of the family.
Yeah,
and so we told the other family hey, we're just going to come in that one day on the 26th, so if that works for you. And my brother was like, yeah, that's great. But I wonder if deep down he's like,
that's not real. Though.
That's not real.
It's the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
I think that my family seemed to give in to that reality of guys. These are all equal 24-hour days. We can celebrate whatever we want on any of them.
It's always Christmas in my heart.
That's right.
That's what I tell people.
That's right. No, I mean,
like a liar.
We'll go to Crossville on Christmas Day. So we'll travel Christmas Day and see her parents and stay there for the night. And it'll be fun. And tomorrow's a Christmas Eve service here. Yeah. So that'll be fun.
Candlelight, some communion.
And we'll open presents tomorrow. So we do it on Christmas Eve.
At the communion service. You're like, at this point, before we take communion, John and his family would like to exchange gifts.
Everyone gather around. Watch the other kids cry. Yeah.
No. I had my last show before Christmas on the 21st, as you know, the night of the playoff game.
You didn't miss anything.
I'm telling you, I'm glad I missed it. Yeah. Once I saw that score at halftime, I was like, man, I dodged a bullet. But I will say, we get there. So it's this theater in Columbia, Tennessee. And it's a cool place. I think I told you about it, but it's a musical conservatory. They teach students there to do stringed instruments and everything. And then they send teams out. So there's groups that play out from there. And then they do shows there. And so it's this nice little, almost like a TV studio, 100-seat little theater with LED wall and everything. It's very outfitted very well for performances. And so my buddy Paul Aldrich has started hosting shows there. And this is a big Christmas show, and he asked me to do it. So I said, let's do it. So I get there to do sound check. It's like an hour and a half before showtime. It is freezing in the room. I'm getting concerned. I'm like, okay. He goes, I just turned on the heat. We should be fine. He goes, I had to go find it. Because they've left him in charge of the theater because they're all in Texas or something doing a performance somewhere. They go, Paul, here's the keys. Well, he's never had to do all that himself. So they're just like, you'll figure it out. So he goes and finds what he thinks is the right thermostat, turns it on. We don't hear any fans running. We don't hear anything. I'm just thinking, I see the units overhead. This is not good. It's 51 degrees in the room. So I think this is a problem if this doesn't work.
You can't even get it warm at that point, probably.
No, it's too late probably already anyway, because you needed hours and hours.
Yeah.
And so as we get closer to showtime, he finds another thermostat at the back wall, and he goes, maybe this is it. We're dialing it in. It's digital. It's one of those things where you're like, what does mode do? You don't know anything about it. If you don't, you know your thermostat at home, and that's it.
I know it well.
And so we're just, what does hold?
I never know what hold is.
Yeah.
I just don't use it.
I said, so he keeps hitting it, and we don't hear anything kicking on, and now people are starting to show up. And as they walk in, they're kind of like, their breath is taken away a little bit, like,
like it's colder in here than outside.
Yeah, and they're like, this one lady, and it's a lot of older people at the show too, and I'm thinking this is the worst possible type of, you're
going to give someone pneumonia.
Yeah. So people are mentioning it, but people aren't leaving. And I'm thinking, all right, well, they're going to be a hearty group. And then Paul, of course, has to make an announcement 10 minutes before the show. Hey, we know it's cold. I'm sorry. We couldn't figure it out. blah, blah, blah. And he actually gets them laughing. They gave me the keys to this place. Can you believe it? And they're laughing. I'm thinking, well, they're laughing. But they can almost see their breath.
Just their teeth were chattering. Yeah. That's all it was.
So
they can see
we start the show, and it got up 1 degree. We got it to 52 or 53, I think.
That's unbelievable.
And people stayed. We did almost a 2-hour show in that environment. Wow. And but I will say this: I didn't sell much merch. When people. When it was over, they were like, let's get to the car. Let's get to the outside where it's warmer.
Yeah, if you'd have had like foot warmers or something for sale.
That's what I should have done. I told Paul that. I said, now's the time to pitch your Paul Aldridge commemorative blankets. $99.95.
I'll one-up you on that.
Okay.
So on Sunday this week, so we had a baptism.
Yeah.
And we use a horse trough, as you know.
Yeah.
And so Andrew normally fills it up when he first gets here. And with warm water, and then I boil water like on the stove. And
because there's no way to heat it once it's in the...
So I boil water on the stove and come and put some in, and we get it kind of lukewarm, and it's fine kind of thing. Well, Andrew is sick, okay?
Yeah.
So I had to do Sunday for him and everything. And so we get here, we turn on the hot water, and we fill up this huge trough,
Yeah.
And Chris walks up to me and says, John, the hot water didn't work. And it's already full, and it is...
It's not hot.
You know how cold it is right now. So cold water is coming out.
Oh, no.
And it's freezing. And I'm like,
you got to baptize somebody.
I got to baptize 2 people. Yeah. And so I'm like boiling water like it's an old show of someone's about
I would say this is how it was in the Jordan River, but it's not because it's in the desert. I mean, that's like, you know what I'm saying? This is in the Holy Land. It's warm there, right? Imagine.
I met with the people and I said, guys, the water is going to be cold. Like we could do this another time if you want. And one of the guys said, something about like, I think when Jesus was baptized or whatever. And I was like, guys, I think the Jordan was warmer than what this is.
Yeah.
Like I said those exact words. They're both like, no, we got this. I said, okay. And I poured all the hot water into it. It did nothing. I mean, nothing. It only just made it fuller, so it was going to spill over. And so literally the first lady gets in and dude, she stands there and I mean, you can tell. And when she finally sat down,
she's like, you know what? I renounce my faith. She decided against baptism.
I felt it was the fastest baptism. I was like, hey guys, we're going to celebrate today. And then we follow with the Holy Spirit. I was like, get her down. And, I mean, her breath and the dude.
Oh yeah.
The dude he stood in it. He was like, this is not so bad. I was like, all right, well, go ahead and sit down. And he went, like it took his breath away. Right. I was like, oh, I feel awful.
And he's on mic. He's on a microphone.
Well, I mean, he's in water, Jonnie. Yeah. So not. I don't know if you know how.
Well, no, but you don't. But I'm saying, do you not?
I actually had him stand outside the tub and talk.
I see.
Had her get in. I had her stand there and said, hey, do you know, she didn't want to say a lot, so I just asked her. But dude, that was the fastest I got that, and how I felt really bad. It's like, you ever had an ice bath before? Because that's what this is going to be.
That's true. That's a big trend right now. They say it's very good for you.
Well,
you know what else is good for you, John?
What's that, Jonnie?
Ads. And listen,
you haven't heard any of those this Christmas.
It's Christmas, and we'd like to take a moment to hear from our fine sponsors.
And we're back. Jonnie, I want to go ahead and go into it.
Oh.
I'm going to go right.
You got it?
I'm going for
John's
it.
Quote of the Week?
John's Quote of the Week, a segment we call They Talked About That. GK Chesterton, Jonnie.
Oh, I love that guy.
Love GK Chesterton. He says, an adventure is only an inconvenience rightly considered. An inconvenience is only an adventure wrongly considered.
Yeah.
This is one of the best quotes. I'm so glad this is like ending the year because this quote blew me. I almost sent it to our small group, but I didn't because I don't care about you guys.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just kidding. But an adventure is only an inconvenience rightly considered, and an inconvenience is only an adventure wrongly considered. And I was thinking about, as I've been telling all the Advent stories, you know, and I even read this morning somewhere that one of the reasons, because Joseph would have had family in Bethlehem, right? Because that's where he had to go to register. So this is like his family's hometown. And think about their culture. It's not just, it gets translated in, but I actually read in the NIV, it was translated, there was no guest room for them. And so some scholars, I mean, it's not like just necessarily the hotel we always think of, oh, well, there's no vacancy.
Right.
That it's just as likely that there was no family member who had a guest room for them that was going to let them stay for a pregnant lady, a lady about to give birth.
Yeah.
And the person I was reading said, there's a chance that they weren't giving them a room for a reason, that they were like ostracized because of the scandal of her being pregnant before they were fully married. Now, their engagement in the Jewish culture I read this week is basically like a year. And it's not consummated, but it requires a divorce to get out of. So their engagement's really interesting in that culture at that time. But that you think about the inconvenience of it all. So at some point, somebody broke down and said, you can go to the barn, which was a cave, right? And so she's giving birth in a cave with family in town. And I think we tell that story like it's the greatest adventure, like this. We've romanticized it. And I think it's okay to see the good in it. But I think what we see in this story is, man, the inconvenience was rightly considered, right? That we don't know if they had some great attitude and they were excited about it and all, but we do know that there was rejoicing. And so I don't know, man, I'm looking at the next year. I know there's a lot more to talk about on that kind of stuff, but like, I think I want to be the person that is paying attention to my perspective of things. I feel like that, and again, a 6 gets real worst case scenario based thinking, and I don't want to be that way. I'd rather see life as an adventure, but you don't have. We learned this in youth ministry years ago. The greatest adventures were always the inconveniences. It's when the tire blows on the bus, or when we get caught in a snowstorm, or we have all these crazy memories that we were just at a stage in life where we got these 50 kids in this bus, and we can't let the attitude go down. Let's just have fun with it, Which is not the way we really are wired, but 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think of when I toured with Tim Hawkins, it was that way because I would get back from one of those like 3-day runs, and people would be like, "Where did you go? What did you do?" And sometimes I would not be able to remember the cities or the places because they all felt the same.
Yeah.
They were all about 2,000 people. They all were great shows. They all were basically the same show. Mm-hmm. But the ones you remember is like, I was in a show with him where a piece of the ceiling fell in this 100-year-old theater, and it fell in the aisleway, and it took 2 people to carry it out. It broke over the stairs. It would have killed somebody. Yeah. It was the size of a car, probably. Just a huge piece of plaster fell from the ceiling because of the acoustics or whatever. And it's just old, and they hadn't noticed the cracks. And I was downstairs, and like, that's one you remember, or like something goes wrong, or like a crowd member says something and you're able to vamp with it. Like, those are the stories people tell. Like, comedians want to hear, tell me your worst. Tell me the thing that inconvenienced you, like you said. Tell me the thing that you had to really think on your feet. Versus like, oh, what do you mean? Everything's been great? Like, nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear that if you have stories like that. No. And then it went great again, and I got a pile of money. Nobody cares.
No.
They want to hear, like, how did you rally? How did you figure it out?
But when it's happening,
it's hard to.
It's so often for me that I don't go to that. And I think that, like, this was in some ways, there were some tough parts of this year for our family. Mm-hmm. I won't go into all that. But I realized, I had this visual in my head, as a dad especially, like that I like have this sword, and I'm like in one of those Braveheart kind of scenes where I'm literally just swinging the sword at everything I can find. Like I'm in the middle, surrounded. And when you get into that place, then I found myself, because things got better. Yeah. There were some things that got better as it went on. But I would find myself still gripping. Like if something started to just look a little wrong, I would overreact. Yeah. I'd go, here we go again. Like it was this real, why does everything happen to me?
Just like the guy in Braveheart did.
Just like, yes.
I think it's funny that you think of yourself as William Wallace. You're like, I'm like if I'm honest with myself, I think of myself as the bravest warrior that ever lived. The most immortalized Scottish hero in history.
I did not say I was William Wallace. I just said I was one of those guys out there in the middle of the field. It just feels like that.
Right.
Okay, how about this? I'm like a ninja. Is that better?
Okay. I don't know. John likes to cosplay, evidently.
You know, the thing I always tell Laura is like whack-a-mole. It really is. Like I can't get everything fast enough. But I don't. So to the point that you live in crisis mode,
Yeah.
in your thinking, and I don't want to be that way. Like I don't. It doesn't. We think you have to wait till crisis ends, and that's I think.
That's the old. There was an old tweet about that. It was like being an adult is just saying, well, in a couple of months everything will calm down over and over again until you die. Like you just say that. Once things calm down, we'll all get together. Once things calm down, we'll do this. Yep. You're making these plans for when there's peace, and we have to figure out a way to move forward even when there's not total peace.
Right.
We have to find the peace within, John. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And paint our faces, evidently. And then run headlong into battle with one of those mace things where you swing it.
And a kilt.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I think you nailed exactly what I was going for. So.
Yeah, no, it's good though. It's good. And I will say too that like if you're on a trip with one of those people that's like everything is an adventure, it could be a little bit.
It can.
You get a flat tire, you're late.
It's like Alec Baldwin on
Well,
Friends.
this is something. You're like, no, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. My youth pastor self was so much more positive in those things. Now,
you had to because you were anticipating cynicism on the part of the kids, so you had to be like so far the other way.
Yeah.
Now you don't have that thing, so you're not trying to correct.
Like I'm just trying to correct it in my own family with my own kid, but it's different when there's a large group. In some ways, I miss that.
You have to be that thermostat for them.
Something holding me where I had to do that. You know, it is that in itself was a form of inconvenience.
John, you needed it, just like in that theater. We needed a thermostat, John. We needed somebody to say,
not a thermometer.
Hey, no, we knew it was 51 degrees.
No, guys,
we already know that. We needed somebody to come in and kick the heat on.
Yeah,
and
you never found that person.
And several people died. No, nobody died. It was a great show. John, let's do my segments. I got a couple special things today, but we're going to do Johnny's old jokes. We call it Joke About That. A Christmas-themed joke about that.
Oh, I like it.
John, I got a few for you. I asked my wife what she wanted for Christmas. She told me nothing would make her happier than a diamond necklace. So I bought her nothing.
I like it.
John, what do you use to drain the water from your Brussels sprouts at Christmas?
I don't know.
An Advent colander. John, I thought you would like that because
I do. It's a wordplay.
Okay. Yeah. Just before Christmas, an honest politician, a generous lawyer, and Santa Claus all got into the elevator at the Ritz Hotel. As the lift traveled from the 5th floor down to the ground level, one by one, they noticed a $50 bill lying on the lift's floor. This is, you can tell, it's a British joke because they're calling it the lift instead of the elevator.
Yeah. Also, I think I know where this is going.
Which one picked up the money and handed it at reception? Santa, of course, because the other two don't actually exist.
That's what I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Finally,
I didn't know how they're going to line it up, but the other two couldn't exist.
Jim asked his friend Tony whether he had bought his wife anything for Christmas. Yes, the answer came from Tony, who was a bit of a chauvinist. I bought her a belt and a bag. It was very kind of you, Jim added. I hope she appreciated the thought. Tony smiled as he replied, so did I. Hopefully the vacuum cleaner will work better now. That's kind of an older joke because vacuum cleaners don't have bags now.
No.
They're just all canisters and
what a jerk.
They're bag free.
I don't like those.
Huh? Did you? Yeah, who knew? Those were awful to replace if you remember the bag era
I'm not talking about the vacuum.
vacuums.
I mean the joke. I don't like that.
You didn't like it?
No.
Didn't like how it felt?
I don't want to. I vacuum more
It's not. John.
Why does it have to be?
Why
do you hate women? I think that's what I'm trying to get to.
That joke was mine. I meant to say, I didn't write that. Jim and Tony are chauvinists. I don't like their attitudes.
Not at all.
John, let's wrap up the show. Normally we do This Week in History. I want to do kind of a This Week in Christmas History combined with some Christmas traditions from around the world. We'll call it This Week in Christmas History.
All right, here we go.
That was super awkward.
Took me a minute to get that.
We'll find it. Yeah, John, this week in 1914, you may know this, but British and German soldiers held a Christmas truce during World War I. They held an unofficial ceasefire on Christmas Day. They sang carols, played soccer, and for one brief moment remembered they were human beings rather than enemies. Then they went right back to shooting at each other. Classic holiday spirit. The original Santa Claus. Also, I wanted to give you this part. The original Santa Claus was St. Nicholas, a 4th century Christmas a Christian bishop rather, who gave his inheritance to the poor. He didn't wear the red suit that's associated with Santa today, John. You know where the red suit came from, right? Because in many earlier depictions of Santa Claus, he was green and blue and many different colors.
This is the Coca-Cola.
It's Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Red and white. They wanted it some tie-in. So a lot of our visions of Santa Claus now are kind of... But, but they stopped shooting each other. How do you like that?
Yeah.
I think we should call off our bitter blood feud just for...
Well, if you just give me the diamonds.
John, in 1965... the first song ever broadcast from space happened, and it was Jingle Bells. Astronauts aboard the Gemini 6 brought holiday cheer to the cosmos.
Wow.
They broadcast Jingle Bells as the first ever song from space, making it clear that even in the vastness of the universe, catchy tunes still get stuck in your head. That's what... And I wanted to end with some Christmas traditions, because I think it's interesting. We kind of think of ourselves as like we do Christmas the right way, but there's so many different ways that people celebrate, and then some traditions from other parts of the world that we've adapted and adopted, and I think it's okay to note those things. For instance, I read about one. This isn't in my notes, but I read about one. Saturnalia. It's a tradition in, I think it's Nordic countries, but that's where we get gift giving. Like, we started giving gifts because they exchanged gifts, and sometimes they even exchanged roles, including in culture, slaves and masters would exchange roles for the day.
What?
Like trading places or something.
Wow.
They would, and then they'd go back. They'd be like, "Ha! You're my indentured servant again." And they would, "Come on now."
That's
Yeah, isn't that weird? But that's where the gift giving comes from. That tradition that we still do in Western culture. Here's one. People in Japan, do you know how they celebrate Christmas? One of the things they do. Give me a food thing that you think
do people in Japan celebrate Christmas?
They celebrate Christmas with KFC. Huh. In Japan, Christmas means fried chicken. Kentucky Fried Chicken has become the default Christmas dinner thanks to a successful 1970s marketing campaign. So this is like, it just got in there. And
it's like their honey baked ham.
Yeah, so families place their orders weeks ahead because nothing says holiday spirit quite like a bucket of original recipe.
That is pretty terrific.
I think that's actually a good one.
Yeah.
And I've heard that about like Jewish culture. There's a lot of people, like they go to in New York City especially, you always hear about, let's go to the Chinese restaurant because they're open. A lot of restaurants are closed for like Hanukkah, so Jewish, like they'll go, let's go out for Chinese food because it's like they know it's going to be open because most of the other restaurants are closed for Christmas.
I did see, by the way, we went to the Chinese buffet the other day that they said that'd be open on Christmas Day.
Yeah, they know what's up. John, in Venezuela, people go to Christmas Mass on roller skates. In Caracas, Venezuela, it's customary for people to roller skate to church for the Misa de Aguinaldo, or early morning mass. I'm sure I've butchered that. During the week leading up to Christmas, this unique tradition is so popular that roads are often closed to accommodate the skaters. I think we should I think that'd be amazing. Can you imagine? You do your Christmas Eve service tomorrow.
Yeah.
People show up looking like Sonic drive-in bellhops or whatever, the whole, whatever that is, car hops.
It'd be hard to skate here on our...
There's a little cobblestone action.
Our roads
in
and stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of...
Rollerblades.
Yeah, I wonder how they're doing that down there.
I don't know. They got skates. I think roller skating should come back. Like, it kind of died off when we were kids. It was like that was the last gasp of skating rinks.
There's still like the
there's always one in every town.
The rollerbladers,
Well,
like
they're trying to hang on. There's still roller skating rinks in some of these small towns. They're trying to hang on. Yeah. They're like, what if we do a theme night? And they're just like, man, but you go in and you can tell like it's not been replaced or buffed. The floors are just, it's not great.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the thing to do, our parents. And I think we just got the
roller skating and showbiz pizza.
Wasn't it something?
Yeah.
All skate. Remember the all skate, couple skate?
Well, yeah.
Do the couple skate and you're by yourself. You're like, great. They're going to play, I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. And you're just sitting on the side like, when is it? And then they go, all skate. They play Journey, Don't Stop Believing. You run out there and then you fall down.
I think I remember skating with a girl and holding her hand and just praying I didn't fall.
I forgot you were popular, so you had a couple. You had somebody. You were in a couple, and I'm standing. I don't know.
There's a couple. I think some girl was willing to skate with me during couple skate. I think it was a kid, man.
Yeah,
just a kid.
There's always that one kid too that like when they have I remember these skate nights where there'd be one kid who could really do it. He could really skate.
Oh yeah, skating.
He knew how to use his skates backwards. He knew how to use his little stopper to slow down. Whenever I use that stopper, you're going. It's not great.
No,
it's not great at all. John, in Germany, people hide a pickle in the Christmas tree. This feels made up, by the way. I looked it up because I was like, this feels like something the AI planted.
Didn't Christmas trees come from Germany? Isn't that like O Tannenbaum? Isn't that German?
Sure, but
now
a German tradition originally known as, oh boy, Weihnachtengurke. This practice, maybe that's where we get the word gherkin. It's got Gurkha at the end of it. Huh. This
pickle
practice
tree, they call it,
has become popular in America as well. This, not anywhere I know of, but in this, I'm going to start doing it. You got to go home with this tonight. In this festive custom, families hide a pickle or a pickle-shaped ornament, I guess to make it less weird and vinegary and smelly, on the tree. And the first child to find it on Christmas morning receives an extra gift or is said to have good luck for the coming. I'd want the gift. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, Timmy, good luck for you." You're like, great. You're holding a wet pickle.
Right.
Good luck. It's a bit of weird tradition, but hey, who doesn't like a bonus prize for finding a random pickle? Listen.
Hey.
Normally, you find a random... Listen, if you find a random pickle anywhere else, please don't.
Yeah,
that's not good luck. That's...
Like, a fella found this in the couch cushion. Why?
That's not...
You should have known before.
Weihnachtengurke.
Yeah.
John, in Ukraine, families adorn their Christmas trees with spider webs instead of traditional decorations. This custom comes from a folk tale about a poor widow who couldn't afford decorations, and on Christmas morning, her children found their tree covered in beautiful webs spun by sympathetic spiders. I think that's a wonderful story. That could be a movie.
What a wonderful
story. That's like a Pixar.
Yeah, I mean,
it's almost like a little Charlotte's Web vibe.
The only way to not be terrified of spiders is to watch Charlotte's Web.
This is believed to bring good luck for the coming year as well. It's a lot of luck. We're going, it's almost like the people who don't want to take down their Halloween decorations are like, look, I'm celebrating like Ukrainian people. Like, no, you just need to.
It's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, do you know that the average Christmas takes about 15 years to grow? I didn't know that.
Huh.
So this is
we need to.
You got to really want to get into this biz.
That. You don't do live trees, right?
No.
No.
I haven't put up a tree in years. We don't have kids. It's
you don't
part
put
of
up a tree at all?
We're humbugs. We're just, we're the worst. I'm sorry. I'm a Grinch.
I have one of those. It's like 3 pieces. It goes together and lights up on its own. Come on, man.
No, I need to. Yeah. Maybe I'd be less bummed. I'm sorry. I'm a bummer.
That's okay.
I should have said, yes, the whole house is lit
stockings all across the... Okay.
John, the first state to officially recognize Christmas in 1836 was who?
Okay, 1836. First state. Well, that's going to be hard.
You would think they'd all do it at once, but I guess somebody had to start it off.
Riddle me this. Is it New England or in the South?
It's in the South.
Then I'm going to say Louisiana.
Alabama.
Oh, wow.
So, Alabama, you got the Christmas spirit. You caught it early. And
that's what I'm saying. All these traditions that we think, again, goes back to Santa Claus and the red suit. Like, we see this as, like, timeless. Mm-hmm. But that was 1836?
1836.
I mean, not timeless, John.
Not timeless. It's only been, a couple hundred years.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the things like, again, the Santa Claus and all the stuff.
Right. I wonder what that celebration looked like for real. Probably roller skates.
You should watch, again, as I always say, Food That Built America has fascinating stuff on what Christmas and
candy canes,
turkeys and stuff like that weren't a thing.
We talked about the frozen turkeys before for Thanksgiving. Where
for the holidays.
We had all these frozen turkeys we had to get rid of.
They talked about, what was they called? Fruitcake.
Yeah.
Like this congealed
because it keeps
fruit
forever,
log.
right? Yeah. That's why.
Did your parents like to get? Did your mom like to get fruitcake?
Oh no, we didn't.
Yeah, like my dad loved to get a fruitcake from the dollar store.
Wasn't the point you passed it on, right? Isn't that the point of it? That you can just and I can mail this now to Aunt Sylvia.
I think he just ate some of it.
Oh, he enjoyed it. It's too chewy. It's got gummies in it.
It's a bunch of candy.
The fruit in it is
together.
not.
Fruitcake's a deceptive term.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, because it's not that at all.
Gaffigan's famous bit about fruitcake is like because he has a whole thing about cake. He does 10 minutes on cake, but then he goes, "What happened to fruitcake?" He goes, "Fruit, good; cake, great; fruitcake, nasty crap." Like he doesn't understand how you combined a good and a great and got awful. John, finally, Icelandic folklore includes a giant cat called the Yule cat. This sounds like I'm making it up.
It does.
It prowls during Christmas time. It is said to eat those who do not receive new clothes for Christmas, encouraging everyone to buy new garments before the holiday.
Well, this is just a commercial ploy.
It feels like it's also kind of targeted at poor people. Like, oh,
you better get
seems like that's an old sweater. Yeah. And then you just get clawed to death.
By a cat.
Yeah. This Yule cat must have been big, too, if it can eat people.
Yule cat.
Yeah.
It's not... I need a more creative name.
Yeah.
What would you call the Yule cat?
Scratchy.
Christmas kitty.
Like he's not. I don't know. Scratchy. But that's a tough one. That just feels like it's, you're don't single me out. I have a lot of the same clothes that I've had for many Christmases. I will say that.
Yeah.
So,
no, I know.
I don't.
The thing about you and I having clothes that we've worn for years is that no one would recognize them because they're all very nondescript. Like
if I wear a new sweater, people are like, well, look who got a new. Like people are going to notice. It's very.
Oh, I see you wore a color.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very
well,
excited.
now I know why I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always like that friend that acts like you never call him back, and then when you call him back, they're like, well, look who decided. I'll just go, hey, don't make me regret it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to do it next time.
Wow.
You know
John,
what I'm saying? Like,
that's great.
I'm calling you back. Stop punishing me.
John loves his family, everybody. Wow. That felt like that came out of nowhere.
Johnny, you are that okay.
John had that one loaded up in the old Pez dispenser of rage.
Right. Listen.
He just pulls his neck back and out pops the anger.
'Tis the season for rage.
Christmas time.
We started Elf last night.
Okay. Just started
Not the movie. No. We started making an elf. No, yes, the movie. Yeah. Well, Sadie had finals, man, last week, and it was a lot.
Did you guys do Elf on the Shelf when she was little? You never did. Did you feel a little bit ripped off, though?
She remembers one being, she's like, I remember you there was an elf on the shelf, like, in this house plant. And the next morning I got up, and it was still there.
Oh, right. So you're like, I knew this was
Well, that elf just didn't move, Johnny. I don't know why it didn't. It just for some reason for us.
Your elf was lazy. He's like, look, I'm just going to hang out in this plant. The rent is good.
He's not getting a Christmas tree. I mean, he's looking for the pickle. Who knows?
That's true.
He was...
Elf on the Shelf was looking for the pickle and the ficus.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it was...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
You know, there's a Jewish thing that's Mensch on a bench that somebody came up with where it's like it's a little Hanukkah figurine that you instead of the Elf on the Shelf. Which I like it. He's a Mensch on a bench.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Did you get any advent calendars from
You do this,
Aldi?
right? You collect them, right? They're cheese, they're chocolates. What do you get?
No, I don't do it much.
You don't do it?
But I know that the Wardens and the Hollands, like, every year they do whatever they have out there, and they'll do it every year. But, cheese or...
Is it 30 days? How long is Advent?
It's 25.
25.
Well, the Advent calendars are usually 25 days. Yeah. But Advent is 4 Sundays.
Okay.
So Advent is actually about, because we looked this up the other day, someone was asking, it's based upon the cycles of the moon. And so the first Sunday of Advent has to do with when a certain moon has appeared. So, it's really interesting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I ate some chocolate today. Does that...
I'm
celebrating in my heart.
I'm eating a lot. I need to cut back.
It's not. Listen, that's the holiday times.
Self-shaming can come during New Year's. You know
Absolutely.
That's when you want it.
Mm-hmm, you sing Old Lang Syne, you don't know what it means, and then you go, I got to pull myself together.
I just want my dog to stop barking outside. That's what I want for Christmas. You know my new trick right now to get him in? Because I can go out there, Ace, stop, Ace, come here. So then you go, Ace, treat. And he knows treat, but he won't come right now if he really wants to bark. Because he knows he's going to get a treat eventually, no matter how much he barks.
Yeah.
So now I take out the little oyster crackers, one of the treats we give him, and I start eating it really loud with my mouth open. I chew real loud.
John.
And he hears that. He'll turn around like, wait, you're eating my treat. And he'll come.
This is embarrassing.
I can't help it. It works.
So you're chomping on an oyster cracker.
I'm chomping on an oyster cracker to get my dog's
Making a big show of it.
Yeah. Like, look what you're missing.
How many oyster crackers are you eating today, John?
I've gained 75 pounds. I didn't say it's a low-carb trick, but it usually does the trick. So,
man,
you got to...
The things we do for our dogs. Yeah.
If he could be a good boy for Christmas, Johnny, then that would be all that I want.
Yeah, Daisy doesn't have Toby anymore. We had to put Toby to sleep, and so now Daisy just goes out. She goes to the steps, and she won't go down, and we have to go pee. Go pee. She'll be like,
Not going to do it.
She acts like she doesn't have to pee. We finally get her out of the yard after coaxing her out of the yard. She pees for 2 minutes. Yeah. I go, you were going to hold that? She was going to come back in. And then she comes back and she goes, where's my treat? Mm-hmm. And I go, I gave it to John.
Yeah, every time. John's crunching on it right now.
And you should have thought about that before you held your pee.
That's right.
I don't know, John. Well, I didn't get you a gift this year, and I apologize.
I didn't get you one either.
I was afraid I was going to come in and you were going to have some big display.
I literally thought
we should have sent a text message.
I thought, I'm trying to remember. Did we give each other gifts?
Well, didn't you give me like a, I don't know, Top Golf or something last year? Gift card?
I don't think it
Maybe
did.
that was birthday.
I think I gave you a Tennessee.
I want to say you got me a Top Golf gift card, and literally we
never went.
No, it was in my wallet, and I just carried it in my wallet, and then my wallet got washed, and that Top Golf gift card, it was like one of those flimsy kind of a thing, and it just disintegrated.
I went to Top Golf with the staff last week for our Christmas party.
Yeah,
and I was awful. I haven't swung a club in a minute.
Well, it's cold. You can blame the cold.
Well, there was big heaters, and we had a big spread of food.
Yeah, but the way that the atmosphere reacts to the ball, and
it's a lot of fun. I mean, I hit some decent shots. I can still hit my 9-iron generally. So that's it, though.
That's all.
I can't. Yeah.
We need to go together. We don't need to do gifts. We just need to find a time to keep the spirit of the season
and go swing a golf club.
Go swing a golf club together.
That'd be fun.
Let's make it happen.
Make it happen. You know what else you should make happen, Jonnie?
What's that?
They should go to talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
All the archived episodes for your holiday travels. And thanks for making us a part of your holiday travel today, if that's what you're doing. If you're just staying put and, maybe you're basting a turkey right now and we're in your ears. And that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. And hope it's not too dry. The gravy is very important to the holiday meals, I've noticed. These are dry. These are dry meats we serve.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we go, the gravy. You go, yeah, but just
from a bygone era when now we need our meats to be.
I need to be succulent.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That was a good word.
We're a little spoiled.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that, go to talkaboutthatpodcast.com. And if you want to support the show, we love our supporters, our Patreon supporters. Thanks for patronizing us. If you want to do that, click on that upper right-hand link, ad-free content. Send us a note by going to hello@talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
Hey, lots of new shows in the new year for Jonnie. JonnieW.com.
That's true. If you want to celebrate ring in the new year right off the bat, January 2nd through 4th, I am in Lowell, Arkansas, doing a comedy club there. It'll be an all-clean show, though. And because my openers, sometimes when I do a club, people are afraid that they're going to get cussed out if they come. But no, it's all clean people I work with. So come to Lowell, Arkansas. There's 5 shows from the 2nd through the 4th.
Wow.
And I got to fill those rooms, gal. We got to listen.
That's a lot of shows.
These clubs. So come out. You can go to my website, JonnieW.com, and find tickets for that. And then I got a bunch more coming in the new year, too. Ruston, Louisiana, John. Exotic Ruston, Louisiana on January 11th.
It should be warmer down there.
Should it?
Than here.
Yeah, probably.
Surely.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Come to Ruston.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
If for nothing else, to see my show.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, thanks for hanging out with us up until the holidays here. Hope you enjoy your holidays with your family, and a Merry Christmas to you. We'll see you next week on
Talk About That.